Nicole James Escobar here, back with part 2 of Chef's Kiss. 6 months went by with no word. I had stopped checking my email and my mailbox for the invitation. Probably just inconsiderate, I told myself. They didn't want me, and they didn't even have the decency to send me a form letter to let me down easy. I had broken up with Austin a few months ago, after a few more canceled dates had shown me that he had other priorities. I had applied to 2 other cooking competitions in the meantime with no success. Just when I was on the verge of getting a promotion at work, I got a phone call. My boss had told me that if I came in and worked more hours and took more responsibility, I would be his first choice to be sous chef. That was a promotion for me, and I would be working directly under him, instead of doing the salad dressings and prepping a few of the appetizers. I would be making dishes that would go straight to the guest. "Hello," I said. "Good afternoon. Is this Victoria Helsing?" the caller said. "It is." Probably another scam call. "I'm Connell from Chef Space Battles. I want to extend an invitation to you to join this season as a contestant." The caller, now having an identity of Connell, said. I screamed inside my head, and adrenaline filled my body with a rush. I was chosen! This was exactly what I was waiting for. "Thank you for choosing me. I thought I had been overlooked," I said, the euphoria in my voice undisguisable. "Do you accept?" Connell asked. "Yes! When do I start? Tell me all the details," I said. "Next week. I will send you an email later today." The phone call disconnected then, and I stared at the phone like I might have imagined it. The conversation had been surreal. But there was a 29-second conversation record on my phone proving I had had this call. I had been in the break room, eating something before going back into the kitchen for the dinner rush. But now I rushed back into the kitchen, needing to see my boss, Chef. Chef was across the kitchen, working in front of the stove in his white and black houndstooth chef uniform. The rest of us wore black, but Chef refused. Something about solid black not being professional. His white chef hat was sagging a little from the heat and the work of the day. "Chef, I need to speak with you," I said, approaching Chef from the side. "What's going on?" he said, busy making a dish that had capers and bacon in it. It smelled good and was visually stimulating as well. "I've been selected for a cooking competition. I need to get off work for some time," I said, holding my breath. I knew this was career suicide in a way, leaving a stable, good-paying job with a decent boss to chase this dream of getting on a reality show. There was no guarantee of anything. I could be eliminated in the first round, left with an apartment rent and bills to pay with no foreseeable way to pay them. If Chef didn't approve my leave, that is. I breathed a prayer that Chef was in a good mood, that he would let me have this time off from work. "When?" Chef didn't look at me. "Next week." I knew that the schedule for the next month was already made, and my name appeared significantly on it. "We have a lot of reservations. I need you," Chef said. "Please. I've been waiting to compete. I'm sure that the show will bring publicity here and showcase you and the restaurant," I said, trying to offer something that Chef wanted. "I don't know what good that's going to do without enough staff and chefs to serve guests." Chef turned away from me and walked to the plating station. "Chef, I've been a good employee. Only 1 sick day in 2 years I've worked here." "You might be gone a day, maybe a month. Who am I supposed to get to fill in for you while you are off doing this thing?" "Ask every chef to take 1 extra shift a week. That should mostly cover it." I had thought of this several months ago when mentally planning out how I would compete on any reality TV show that I chose me. "Fine. I have a proposal from you. I'll let you have the time off if you help me with something," Chef said. "Unpaid. I know that might be illegal, but if I give you time off as a friend, you can help me off the clock as a friend." Chef must have been waiting to rope me into this, because normally I would have demanded some form of payment for services. "Anything," I said, holding my breath. "My niece is getting married, and she doesn't have the money to afford catering. I'm going to volunteer to provide the raw ingredients and my time. I need you to help me out with some of the cooking," Chef said. "Of course, that sounds great. After all, 1 day of my life, as chaotic as it might be, and I'm pretty sure it would be chaotic based on the bits I've heard Chef say about his family, it would save my job. I'm not expecting you to win this competition and permanently leave me. I'm only going to hold your job for 2 months before I start looking for someone else," Chef told me. "I shouldn't be gone but a month at most. I think most times it only takes a couple weeks," I said, excitement running through me. This had been the final obstacle to my being able to compete, and I had been successful. "Just be sure that you come back," Chef said softly. "There isn't anyone else that can handle the promotion you're about to get. You know the other chefs get angry when I bring in someone from the outside from a leadership role. I don't want to make anyone upset or pay anyone any more money." I'm coming back. Even if I did win, there isn't any guarantee that the prize would set me up for life. And I enjoy this job and working with you," I said. Chef didn't say anything else, just made some sort of sound in his throat, and then turned away from me to work on another dish. I got the email later that night from Chef Space Battles. Backpack allowed. No suitcases. Bring your chef knives, changes of clothes, and personal items. No electronics, no cell phones, no computers. The competition will start on Thursday and end in 2 weeks. Welcome to Chef Space Battles. There were a few other technical details that sounded more like directions to get kidnapped than to enter a competition. There was the QR code for my plane ticket. I was going to Mexico to compete. Not exactly what I thought of when I thought of a cooking competitions, but I was in. Someone would come pick me up from the airport in a white van and take me to the hotel I was staying in. Maybe there was going to be a nice hotel stay in store for me, more of a vacation than anything else. A backpack wasn't going to allow me to bring very many things. A couple changes of clothes, my pillow, and the very basic essentials, including a reference cookbook. I might need some inspiration. I texted my friend Sarah and asked her if I should bring any makeup. She texted back, yes! I would have to make a trip to the beauty store that Sarah always shopped at to choose a few things to make myself look better on camera. I had always heard the lights were hot and that I might start to sweat. Some sweat-resistant products would be good. There was a long document attached to the email with what seemed to be 1,000 places for my signature. I'm a chef, not a lawyer. I didn't even bother reading the pages. It was either yes or no, and when it came to signing, I was a yes. Jump in with both feet. Figure out the legalese, win, and if I needed to. Focus on studying special dishes to win this competition. It did take me over an hour, even with electronic signatures, to sign the entire document. I sent a text to Sarah saying, it's happening. Officially, just sent off the paperwork. She sent me an excited emoji with the words, I can't wait to see you on TV. This was my first time flying internationally. I did have a rather nerve-wracking flight transfer going from Mexico City International Airport side to the domestic side. It involved taking a train that wasn't in the concourse and going through yet another security check. Everything was in Spanish, so it was hard to figure out where I was supposed to go. Eventually, I got on the small domestic flight, having to take a bus onto the tarmac and board directly onto the plane. I didn't enjoy the flight, feeling the reality of the competition hit me. I did have some of the snacks that I was served, with some water. When we landed, my row was the last row to get dismissed from the plane, so that put me as the last one to exit the plane. Not that it mattered, other than to my nerves, which were feeling the pressure of competition. Sitting still didn't help. I walked to the baggage claim area, not because I had bought a suitcase, but that's where the meeting point for the competition was. A woman who was a decade older than me was sitting on the airport bench, staring at the window. She was waiting for someone. She had a couple tattoo sleeves, short brown hair, and was wearing a pair of jeans with a basic white t-shirt. What I recognized as a knife roll for her chef knives was sitting beside her. She must be one of my fellow competitors. I walked over to her. I'm Victoria. Are you here for the competition? The woman looked at me like she was sizing me up. Apparently, she didn't know that appearances didn't matter when it came to making food. This competition was a food competition, not a beauty pageant. The woman apparently was done with sizing me up, answered, I'm Alex. Yes, I'm here for the competition. I paid extra to fly directly here and to get started. Somehow, I thought the bus would be waiting to take me to the hotel. I've been waiting an hour now. Where do you live that you can fly direct here? I had to transfer in Mexico City, I said. California? I'm from Atlanta. Nice, what's your specialty? Cuisine or dish, I countered. We talked for 20 minutes where I learned that she specialized in Japanese cuisines and had done an apprenticeship in some of the finer French cuisines. She had a Japanese boyfriend and had started branching out after meeting him. He was a chef as well. My impression of her was that she was going to be tough competition. Finally, just like I had imagined, a white van showed up, but it was new, not dirty and raggedy, so it made me feel more like a valued member of the team and less like a kidnapping victim. A man who looked like he could have been part of the film crew, dressed in a pair of jeans and a green t-shirt with a pair of dirty sneakers that showed he was at work. He walked inside the baggage claim area and loudly announced, Everyone waiting for the chef competition, come with me. He didn't wait around, walking directly back to the van where he opened the rolling door. Alex and I both got up and followed the gentleman to the van. Why do you think we had to come out here to compete? I asked Alex as we got seated in the van. I bet there was something to do with the filming laws in the United States, permits, or regulations, or not being able to get a crew, maybe money. Who knows, Alex said. Did you ever figure out what the prize was? No, I read all the documents that they sent, which ended up taking a whole day to do. There was never a mention of exactly what we were competing for, but there were a lot of ways that they stressed the possibility of death and dismemberment. I guess they really had some lawyers write down every possible thing that could go wrong, Alex said. We fell silent then, having a few more contestants get on the van with us. The van didn't take us to a hotel. Instead, the sign, which thankfully was in English because English was the official planetary language of Earth, read Tuxtla Spaceport. Mexico didn't regulate space travel the way the United States did, so there were spaceports all over the country. This one seemed small, but I had never been to a spaceport before. Everyone on the bus was curious and a little confused. We all had thought we were going to be competing here on Earth, not going off planet. It was going to be my first trip off planet. I wish I hadn't left my cell phone at home. It would have felt good to call Sarah and tell her I was going off planet. As we unloaded from the van, I looked around at the spaceport. It didn't feel futuristic, more industrial than anything else. Once inside what I assumed was a hangar, I saw little as we were taking down a maze of hallways without windows. We finally came to a door that was very narrow and I was inside the space shuttle. It looked more military plane than luxury space travel. All thoughts I had of space travel from the movies were replaced by the reality of bare-bones travel. Forget the sparkling steel walls or the black floors. Everything was camo green. The seats were hard and the windows non-existent. It took an hour to get loaded in the space shuttle. I sat on the hard metal jump seat as the pressure from the ride took my breath away. My backpack was under my seat in some metal box that closed securely and wouldn't open mid-flight. The crushing weight of liftoff wasn't reassuring, my body struggling to keep calm among the sheer panic I felt as the weight of gravity pressed into my chest. The liftoff was the worst part, the ride turning into a nicer ride once we were free of the planet's atmosphere. Once in space, the ride was mostly smooth, with only a few people getting sick. It could have been from the liftoff or just from nerves. What had I gotten myself into?